Hello there everybody, welcome back to my channel. I do hope you're having a good day and welcome back to another video. So today you join me for yet another unboxing and review. This week I thought we'd take a look at an aircraft that I don't think you guys have actually seen yet. I bought this one about 6 months ago on an impulse purchase from eBay. I have to say right now it is a really good value model for the money that I paid for it. So it is the Gemini Jets JOON Airways Airbus A320-200. So let's get into it. Okay then, so let's address the obvious to start off with. Now, of course, JOON are no longer operating as their own airline. I believe that when they were operating, they were sort of a subsidiary of Air France, being a French airline. And I think in probably maybe 2016 or 2017, I think it was absorbed back into the Air France company. So although this aircraft is no longer flying for JOON themselves, it's sort of still operating for effectively Air France, as it sort of always was. So yeah, it's a little bit confusing there. Let's talk a little bit about how much I paid for this then. So I paid in total with shipping £24 for this model. Now just bear that in mind as we go through it, because I think that is an astonishingly good deal. It really is. I'm quite amazed that I got it for this price, and although it isn't perfect, as we're about to see, I think it absolutely was worth the price in this situation. So yeah, whether I'll end up operating this in airport updates as like an Air France flight in the JOON livery with an Air France flight number, I'm not entirely sure, or whether I'll keep it as sort of JOON the airline itself. Will Scarlet International is sort of a bit of a compilation of different airlines anyway. It's not too realistic, obviously, because it's a fictional airport. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure sort of how I'm going to be operating this in updates, but let's start and take a little bit of a look at the box. Now for once, of course, this is a Gemini Jets model, if I didn't mention in the intro, but we don't have sort of the normal standard generic packaging. So yeah, this is, for example, just one of the model boxes I've got out at the moment. This is, of course, the normal Gemini Jets box, and then we've got this one. So it's a really minimalist, really white box, and I have to say I really approve of it. Now, of course, this is an actually second-hand model from eBay, not one of the ones that are new. So we do have sort of some tarnishing and scratches, and that front of the box there isn't particularly clean, but of course, it being white as the main colour, it's also going to pick up dirt a lot easier. But in total, generally there's really nothing too wrong with it. We've got the flap. Now that is also quite minimalist than some of the other Gemini Jets things. I'll give you a moment to pause and read that if you would so like to do. And then we can, of course, take a look at the model there, which is a really nice one. So without further ado, let's unbox this and take a little bit of a look. I just can't get that price out my head. £24 with shipping, and so that values the aircraft really at about 18 or 19 pounds. Really is incredibly astonishing there. So let's take it out. And of course, I've seen this before, so it isn't one of those surprise unboxings where I go, wow, it's so beautiful. But I have to say, it really is. Oh, the camera's not focusing. Right, so I'm going to take a little bit of a look over this model in a little bit more detail, and we're going to come back in a minute and take a look at some of this model's finest features. So I'll join you back in a moment. Okay then, so please excuse the slight state of things sort of back here. I mean, there's all sorts of models over there, but yeah, we're between airport updates at the moment, so this is what WSI looks like normally, really. So let's take a little bit of a look at this model. Now, I really can't stress enough how beautiful these Gemini Jets A320s are. I've got two of them now. This is my second one. The first one is the Aer Lingus, and that is also equally beautiful. I think it's something to do with how they apply the finish on this model. Both of the models are a couple of years old now, so I'm not really entirely sure what they were doing at the time that these were produced, but it is really amazing when it comes to finish. I'm really happy with this model. So let's take a little bit of a tour. Starting at the front, we have got the cockpit. Now that is perhaps slightly skew with, as you can see there, just me holding it up. Perhaps the cockpit isn't quite as straight as it could be, but honestly you really wouldn't notice from any other angle. Moving on down the side, we're going to go down the right hand side. We have the SkyTeam emblem next to the R1 door there. That's all looking all good. That's really small piece of detail. And also the doors are another really good place on this model, because there is so much detail there. I mean, I can't exactly read what it is, but there's all sorts of different colours, textures and shapes on those doors. Moving down to the left a little bit further then, we have the JOON logo. Now I've got to say, although I was never really particularly familiar with JOON when they were in operation, I really do like this livery. I think it's really elegant, really simple. You know, the blue I think is a very nice shade of blue, and I think in general this livery suits this aircraft really well. Moving on to the wings, that is another area of really astonishing detail. We have the emergency exit ramp guides going down the wings there, and all sorts of different details. I believe we also have two different colours painted on those wings, as well as the no step borders being outlined there in black, as well as some other moulded detail around the black. I mean, I can see the speed brakes there on the top, I can see the slats on the front that have been picked out in a separate colour, and of course the flap fairing tracks down there on the back. Moving on down to the very end, then we have the blue winglets. Those look really good. Yeah, they look nice and fine, not too big, not too chunky. Sometimes on these models you can potentially see a little bit too much paint clinging on them, and that can affect sort of the shape of them, but no, that's absolutely fine. Another good area of this model is the engines. Now I don't really know if you can see that, I'll try and get a little bit more light on it there. Those are really very good pieces. You can see the different sections coming out of the back of the turbofan looking very good there. I think there's possibly more than one paint colour. Yeah, that's really good. All sorts of decals and details on the engine cowlings themselves there. Yeah, that all looks good. And in terms of interior detail, we have a modest amount of interior fan detail. Nothing particularly special, but at the end of the day, you know, this is an A320 and those engines aren't huge, so that perfectly is sufficed for this model. I'm not entirely sure why I said sufficed, that wasn't really correct, but oh well, I'm just going to carry on talking and I may end up cutting this out of the edit. Moving down further to the back, we have the registration number. Of course, this is a French registered aircraft, and the registration being Foxtrot Golf Kilo X-Ray November. That's all good. We have the French flag just behind that, just to confirm that. And moving on to the tail, we have the R1 door, the tail itself with JOON's logo there on it, and of course the rear elevators. Those are all good. We've also got the sort of leading edge of those also picked out in silver, and also some more no step markings there. And right there at the very back we have the APU port, of course, and actually I hadn't noticed that before. That's some nice detail. Either side of the elevators up and down we have got the detail showing the trim of the aircraft. On the real aircraft, if you were boarding on these doors, I believe you'd be able to see how those elevators are trimmed. So yeah, that is a really nice detail from Gemini Jets. Moving on then to the landing gear. Now this is all good. We have got all rolling wheels on this model, which is a really quality feature. Yeah, very happy with that. Everything looks fine scale, everything looks nice. Also on the bottom we have got, of course, well, we've got the landing lights. Oh, focus. We've got the landing lights on the front and all sorts of ports down there, as well as the Gemini Jets logo and the model stand hole there. If you want to if you'd like this on the stand, then that's your facility to do that. And then onto the nose landing gear, then we have got the landing gear doors and the nose set of landing gear there, even with the details of the registration number on those doors there. That is also a really good quality feature. And actually, yeah, I've just noticed another small detail there below the cockpit. You can actually see the Air France logo in very small writing there, proving that they were eventually sort of absorbed back into the Air France brand, but I think it was sort of a low-cost subsidiary of Air France itself. So there you go, that is a quick review of this JOON A320-200 by Gemini Jets. I would highly recommend this model. If you can pick it up for a decent price like I did, to be honest, I would have paid an awful lot more for a model of this quality. I'd expect it to be valued at about £35, and I think normally you would see that. I think perhaps for whatever reason, perhaps the person who was selling it on eBay maybe didn't realise how valuable it was and gave it away for a little bit less than it's worth. So ultimately I've ended up getting a really good deal here. I'm sure you will see this in a Will Scarlett International update coming up in the coming months. Yeah, about that, I'm not entirely sure where we are at the moment. As I mentioned in the last airport update, you're probably not going to be seeing another one until I've moved house. I'm planning on doing a moving vlog, and then we're going to be jumping right back in with another Will Scarlett update. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure whether this aircraft will be in that, But if it is, then you'll be able to take a look at this video as well for a little bit of a review of it if you'd like. Just before I go, I'd like to say thank you so much to all of the support that I've been continuing to receive from you guys down in the comments section. It really is nice to talk to all of you guys down there, and I really do appreciate all of the support that I do get. Also, if you would like to follow my Instagram page, I'll leave a link for that one down in the description below. I do some behind the scenes stuff, planning on doing a Q&A at some point, and perhaps you'll see some behind the scenes footage that doesn't end up making it into these videos. But for now, I'm going to say thank you very much for watching. I really do hope you've enjoyed it, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!